Oh, hi there. My name is Dimitri Riley. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Could you guys do me a favor? I would love it if we could stop lying to ourselves, right? Tonight here on Truth Talks, we're saying what everybody whispers, but nobody wants to record. Why do some Black immigrants act like they're better than Black Americans? I just want to know. Yeah, we're talking about the hidden anti-Black biases inside the Black dysphoria. From backhanded shade to outright superiority complex, this isn't just ignorance. This is disrespect in the colonizers and passed down like poisons. So tonight, we're asking, how do we fix this deep divide between Black Americans and Black immigrants before it kind of get us all chained up? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's call it out. Let's break it down. We can do it right here, right now on Truth Talk.
Are y'all ready to roll? Let's go.
Well, there it is, Dimitri Wiley opening the show. Welcome. Thank you for that. We also have Dr. Cheyenne Bryant in the house. How are you?
What's going on, Torre? I like you right now, so we're doing good. Welcome, Truth Avengers. You know, my brother's curls are popping. He used that good hair maniacs. And, you know, at some point my curls will be just as pretty as his, but right now I got my locks. So anyway, welcome, y'all.
Yeah, this is all natural from my mama. So ain't no hair maniacs over here. Good luck. We also have Dr. Sarah Fontenot coming all the way from Canada. Welcome.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you guys. And I'm the same. You never know what hair you're going to get with me. You know, one day I might be natural, another day I might be braids, another day I might have some extra.
You know,
okay?
Dimitri, we are constantly in this country talking about foreigners stealing good American jobs. For example, Sarah has the next segment. Take my job. Go, girl.
It's sharing is caring. You know, we're getting into trending truths because the Army is kicking out Black men for razor bumps. So the Army's new shaving rule targets Black soldiers. The Army requires a clean-shaven face. But 60% of Black men suffer from painful razor bumps, also called folliculitis. Now soldiers face discharge if they don't get laser hair removal in the next 90 days. Let's take a look.
A new shaving policy could result in Black Marines losing their jobs. Based on a new policy, people who are inflicted with a skin condition that can cause pain and scarring, which, by the way, this happens, it happens to Black men, all right, just so you understand, that can cause pain and scarring on their face. These are razor bumps, but it is a skin condition. It's an epidermal condition. They can now be kicked out of the military, out of the Marines, if it does not clear up within a certain amount of time. So this may greatly affect Black men, according to the Marine Corps Times. The U.S. Marine Corps.
Sheesh. Okay. So it looks like, well, Torre, it looks like you can actually grow hair on your face. Sorry, Dimitri.
Wow.
But with that being said, Torre, is this just grooming policy or is it hidden racism in uniform?
There's a little peach fuzz on the bottom of Dimitri's chin. We can get
just a little. Just right here, right here. There ain't nothing right here, though. He was suffering from
fake, but it's fine. You know, I don't think that this is trying to eliminate Black people from the military, because I think the military understands that they need Black people. African American men, particularly, are a large portion of the military. But I think this is why DEI is valuable, especially at higher levels of decision making. I think what the military has done is impose a policy without understanding this is going to disproportionately hit Black men. The white men who are imposing this don't understand that. I don't think they're trying to discriminate. They are being ignorant. And when you have Black people or brown people or Asian folks who are part of a decision-making process, they can say, hey guys, this is natural, and this is nothing that Black soldiers could do about it. The military wants them to get laser treatments, but that costs more money. That's not cheap. It requires, I think, 6 different visits, which a lot of people don't want. If you go on a deployment, you may not be able to get this laser treatment at all. So, I mean, the military really should not be focusing on this. Focus on getting the men and women and they's ready for combat.
What do you think, Dr. B? Is this what Touré is saying, or is it deliberately a way to enforce systemic racism into the Army?
Sister Sarah, Touré, that's some bullshit. This is systemic racism. You're talking about instead of supporting and providing resources to a group of men who only make up 8.7% of the Marine Corps. So they're not the majority, and they're not, the Marine Corps consists of majority black men. That's not true. They're 8.7% are black men in the Marine Corps. And instead of providing them with support or resources on how they can have treatment for that, you rather say we are going to make rules and regulations where you can't be a part of a country or serving a country, risking your life, which is what we need. And in return, we're going to say, Touré, you said it costs, you know how much it costs to be able to provide this type of care? First of all, they don't care for our soldiers when they are veterans. And now you're not going to care for them when they are active? That is some bullshit. And systemically, you're creating ground rules for saying, listen, sorry that, you know, physically and biologically, y'all are built different. Your DNA is different. And so we're not going to care about trying to create product that can work for your skin, nor are we going to care about getting you treatment so you can actively do what we need anyways, which is continue to have folks present so we can have the strongest military in the world. So we're just going to say, you know what, figure it out. Sorry. Oh, well, because you are only 8.7%, we don't really need you. And we're stripping off.
Hold on. Black people are 20% of the entire military. So
I said 8.7%.
No, I understand that you're talking about the Marines, but also the Marines are not dealing with this issue because the Marines faced a lawsuit around this issue a few years ago and abandoned this policy entirely. So we're talking about the entire military, which is 20% black. It's a large enough number that they should actually understand how to care for these people.
No, that's my point. They should understand how to care for them, but it shouldn't even take a matter of having a lawsuit because you are systemically racist toward a group of people for you to now say, oh, we should care for them. These people are human. They are risking their life for our country. This should be a part of your military culture to say, you're risking your life for our country. We want to make sure you have the best quality of life. The best quality of life absolutely includes health. Something as small as razor bumps, which is painful. I'm saying small, meaning it's not cancer or HIV or diabetes or something that we're saying is contagious. Get this brother's skin taken care of so we can go on the front line and do the
life would be not sending them to war. That would be the best quality. Like, let's be very thoughtful about before we send them into the theater.
Touré, you're deflecting from the fact that these black men deserve care. Forget war, forget picking up a gun, forget training right now. They have decided to commit to put their life at risk. Even if we don't go to war, they're saying, I'm willing to do it. They deserve more respect, more honoring, and that comes at the act of taking care of their health and their well-being and making sure they're good.
You know, I can see both sides of what both of you guys are saying. And I do think because we are the minority, they may not be thinking about us in that way. And at the same time, 20% is enough for us to have a strong comeback. What do you think, Dimitri? Could this be, what is the true mission of this new policy? Is it to limit Black people in these secure military careers? What do you think?
I think the idea of it is when 60% of Black men are suffering from razor bumps, that's pretty significant. I think it's less about grooming and the way the skin grows, but it's an exception or an exception on how to push a forced exit. It very well could be the idea that they want Black men in Black jobs. And the thing about it is, what the military once was when they first forced it on us was something completely different. They took what they can get. But at this point, the military can be very beneficial to a man in his career. It's a career. I don't think they want Black men earning stripes in this country. I think that's more of the problem. And I think they found a way to single Black man out, and that's exactly what they're using.
I mean, I don't know, Dimitri, we are struggling. The country is struggling to have enough volunteers for our military. Black people are 20% of the military. They're not trying to shrink the number of Black people when they are struggling to meet their recruitment goals.
So are you saying it's about?
There's a group of people, sorry, real quick, Dimitri, there's a group of people called white supremacy that you always blame for our problems that don't see us as human. They see us less than human. They also see us less than dogs and animals. And so when you're talking from that perspective, 20% of less than human, less than even a dog, you think they care and even feel like we are privileged and honored enough to even serve their country? No, they can care less if we are in the military, on the front line or the back line. White supremacists, white privileged, systemic folks look at serving the country as a privilege and an honor. If they don't look at you as being privileged, you're not a person they honor, why would they want you to be in a military that is supporting and fighting for their country? They don't care about that. That's why they don't care about making sure that your health is intact enough for you to stay. We're talking about hair bumps. This is so minute when it comes to an issue that they can provide treatment for.
You're right that it's minute, and the government, the HEGSET, the Defense Department, should be caring about other things. But I think white supremacy likes us in a servant role. So Black people, Black men who are serving in the military, we're fulfilling our purpose. And I think they value 1/5 of the military as Black people. Like, that is fantastic. Keep them down. Like, as long as we're working in subservient roles, supporting white supremacy and that sort of, like, that's fine. It's when we want to grow to have a Bentley and be a mental health professional and like have pretty hair and like run around Los Angeles like we run things and really try to make change through the NAACP or BLM or whatever. That you are the sort of person who is a challenge to white supremacy, not the sort of person who is working within the system.
You know, I think for me, the thing about it is the timing of it all, right? Because it was HEGSET that just reinstated the new grooming standards this year. And there have been some things that are definitely more questionable in regards to Black people as a whole, you know, over this last little area this year. So that does raise a question for me. And I guess a bigger question would be, should expulsion really be the solution? Like, isn't there a step below where they can, you know, that you could have chosen, maybe you have to go on leave, or maybe you can work a different portion. Like, why do you have to be kicked out of the Army because your hair grows a certain way? And that is one thing, you know, we naturally have oftentimes thicker, more coarse hair that is harder for a follicle to let it come out. I mean, any woman that's gotten laser hair removal understands the difference between that and shaving. Shaving is not comfortable, and I couldn't imagine doing it on my face. But I think that we should move on from this one. Go ahead, Touré. Take us into our politics.
I'm sorry, Dimitri, do you want to say one more thing?
Yeah, it's real familiar. I remember hooping in high school, like playing basketball. And I remember the coach taking the best 3 players, right? The best 3, when a team was acting up.
You were on the bench?
No, I was hooping. I met 3. But listen, this is what I'm telling you.
So you was watching them. Got it.
I remember the coach taking the best 3 players. I was one of them, sorry. And making, as an example, making us go mop the floors when the team was wrong. He took the leaders of the team, the best. It was never about performance. It was about power. In saying, look, no matter how you show up, look what I control. I control this narrative. And I think, like you said, Touré, this is a hierarchy thing. Why push us out when you can, you know, pivot because you want us out? I think that's as simple as it is.
That's a fantastic place to leave this. I want to move on to our politicking segment. The Department of Homeland Security has ended temporary protected status for Haitian people who are in America. Starting September 2nd of this year, over 500,000 Haitians will lose temporary protected status, no protection from deportation, no work permit, no safety net, just go back. Is this the new immigration policy? Is this America trying to get rid of even browner people? Look at this video.
More than 300,000 people face the prospect of being sent back to Haiti in September thanks to a change in U.S. policy. The decision comes just months after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem ended temporary protected status extensions for Haitian migrants in February. Haitians were first granted TPS under the Obama administration following the deadly 2010 earthquake and has been repeatedly extended due to rampant gang violence and political instability following the 2021 assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. In the announcement, NOM said that conditions in Haiti no longer meet the requirements of TPS designation and that Haitians can return home in safety despite the ongoing humanitarian crisis. The statement did not elaborate further. This, as the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince urges Americans not to travel to Haiti and to leave as soon as possible.
You know, Dimitri, the part of the backstory here is that America and France have been screwing Haiti for centuries. The reason why the country is poor and mismanaged is because those two governments have been screwing with them and keeping them down and extorting and extricating money from them for centuries. So now when they have a problem, a natural disaster, and America helps some of them, 500,000 people is not a lot of people for America to absorb. And to say like, well, we cannot help you anymore when we are part of the author of your problems. It's truly disgusting and a complete misunderstanding of why these people are struggling historically.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're right. Obviously, we got ICE locking up 3,000 people a day. We can do more help than that. I think the thing about it is, to me, and I hate to minimalize anything going on, but it kind of feels like collateral damage. And what I mean is this Haitian immigration and the hatred towards them is what we've always received. They are an extension of us. So why would I treat them much better than I treat you guys? And you're from here. And I think the thing about it is a lot of times we're seeing it just not with Haitian. Any color of brown is treated the exact same way. So for me, I see collateral damage in a larger situation.
Sarah, I think that immigrants do something, give something, bring something valuable to the country. I think that we owe it to Haitian immigrants to help them when they are in a horrible situation, and we have the resources and ability to help people. This country used to look at immigration as like, wow, like we're so great, we're so big, we're so benevolent, we're so valuable and important that we can help people from other countries. And now we look at it in a sort of, what is it, niggardly way, where we're like, if we give them a dime, oh my God, I want us to do better by immigrants, but we are only committed to demonizing them.
Yeah, and I honestly don't even understand why that is the biggest focus of things. Like, why is immigration? And maybe you guys can answer this for me. Let us know in the comments if you guys have this question as well. Why is that such a pressing topic when there are so many more life-altering topics that we should be addressing in America? Like you said, I don't think that there's an issue with having Haitians here. I don't think there's an issue with having illegal immigrants here. But we've seen it already. We've seen the cages that the ICE is putting and trying to get these 3,000 people a day. And now it honestly seems like we want to be that benevolent country where it's only us and we call all of the shots and nobody gets to come in and nobody gets to go out without our permissions. The issue with that, and my question for that is, what other country will now start to play the same game? And how will we also be shooting ourselves in the foot?
I don't know that there's another country that will be able to do what the United States has done for the world over the last century plus, that anytime there was a major calamity in Eastern Europe, South America, Western Europe, Asia, that you could come here and we would absorb you. And I think part of the problem, Doc, is culture, that they talk about crime, they talk about economy, but the real fear is culture, is that brown folks, Haitian folks, whoever will come here and will change the cultural fabric of America, and the whiteness that they prize will be lost.
Yeah, because America itself doesn't have a culture. The culture of America is the quilt of all of the different cultures that exist here, that have always exist here. And so, yeah, you stripped us of all of the Haitians and the Latin cultures and even Asian cultures and the Indian culture. I mean, you just go down the list and we just really have America at its core. But what's interesting is America at its core is still wrapped in the nucleus of all these cultures that we are now calling immigrants. That's the part that makes it so crazy, that this is not about America being the nucleus of America being white or the white family, right? This is really about America's nucleus is a cultural melting pot where people have been here, people come here, and almost every president we've had has actually deported many immigrants. Trump is just doing it loud. He's doing it transparently. He's doing it on TV, and he's doing it to where we can see it. And I love Obama. Obama also deported a lot of immigrants. He just didn't do it in a way where he treated them like animals, or he had them in cages, or he built concentration camps for them. So there's always been immigrant control. This is now immigrant slavery. There is a difference between the two.
Sarah, you're on the right, but you said you don't really understand or you don't feel the immigrant issue is not moving you. This is a big, huge driver of people on the right. Trump is doing this because this should, with the Haitian folks, should move his people. Yes, get them out of here. Get every immigrant out of here, especially every brown immigrant out of here. I don't understand how you're like, I'm conservative, I'm on the right, but I don't understand. This is the core animating issue of your political tribe right now.
Right. Well, that's the thing. That's not my political tribe. I'm an independent. I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm opinionated. And I'm a critical thinker. And I think about what makes the most sense based off of what I think makes sense for the good of the colony, aka America, right? Or whatever place that we're thinking of. And this whole conversation makes me laugh because the people that are saying we need to deport everyone are immigrants. The only people that were here in America were Native Americans or Aboriginal people. They came here, they stole their land, they raped,
think about it like that, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's the truth of it, though. Right? So why is it that now you get to say, oh, let's get rid of, we're gonna send the Native Americans to reserves. We're gonna deport the even browner people. We're gonna deport the Latin American people, which, by the way, some of them in different places were also Aboriginal people. And so it's so hypocritical, in my personal opinion, if you want to come here and start saying that now we're gonna reinforce that you are an illegal immigrant. Are we not all that? Because the only reason why they're legal immigrants is because they stole, they pillaged, they raped, and they killed. That is the only reason why. So this whole topic to me doesn't make any sense. And I don't think anyone has a right to do this inhumane behavior. But I do understand that this is a fear-based control system where people will self-deport themselves. That's the only answer that I have.
Dimitri, we do see the Trumpies getting browner and browner with the people that they're going after, right? Mm-hmm. And originally the attack of their immigrant sweeps were South Central American immigrants, Mexican immigrants. And now you start to move toward Haitians, right? And more Black immigrants. Of course, the white South Africans can come. That's not a problem. But like, oh my God, these Haitian immigrants that we've been protecting for 500,000 people, that is a pittance in a country of 360 million people.
That's a lot.
But seeing the target get browner and blacker is scary, right? Because I'm like, so they're moving toward us.
You know, I really don't think the mission changed. I think they've learned to rebrand it very well. They've learned to attack brown faces and then pin them against the same people. People might not question it as fast if it's a brown face attached to it. It's not really like diversity, but more so camouflage. I'm learning to target exactly what I've always wanted to target, regardless of what place it's in. I just needed to have this brown face, this brown skin. And I think the system is now weaponizing those brown faces against brown bodies and Black bodies. You know what I'm saying? Whether you see it in ICE or you see it in the CBP or, you know, military, XYZ, whatever the case is. But I don't think social media is wrong at all in painting the story. It just gives a half story. It's not the entire story of what people need to hear. But yes, they are getting browner. And then that's
concerned about our Haitian brothers and sisters in this country. If that is you, come into our comments. Tell us what's going on for you. Tell us how this is making you feel. Godspeed. I hope you find the peace that you deserve. I want to move on to the main topic and let Dimitri lead this one. Go, brother.
I just wanted to say, listen, too many Black immigrants come to America and they benefit from the fight our ancestors, that's me and your story, our ancestors died for. You understand what I'm saying? And then they turn around and look down on the very people who opened the door for them.
Yes.
Like from the accents to the attitudes to fashion and morale, we're diving into how white supremacy put us against each other. And why are some folks fall for it? Those are ideas we need to tap into. Define Black dysphoria and its current cultural aspects in America. I would love to know what you think, though.
I mean, I definitely see what you mean, and I have heard folks talk about the notion that they were not slaves, so that they are better than us. And I know that exists in many people. And even if they may come from Africa, they may look down on us, African Americans, and not want to align with us because they perceive that we are at the bottom of the social strata in America. So we don't want to be with the people in the bottom. And I felt that shade. I felt that coded language. I felt folks, Black and brown folks, from the diaspora, not really feeling that connection with us that I want them to feel. Godfrey is an amazing comedian who said a lot of brilliant things. He had an interesting point on this. I want to play that. Take a look.
She said some shit about, which is funny how almost every foreigner has something to say badly about African Americans. Even Africans sometimes have fucked up shit to say about African Americans, but then everybody comes to America trying to be African American.
And benefit off of our struggle and the work that we put in.
Yeah. How could anybody that looks like you come into America and talk about African Americans when they are the ones that have created the foundation for foreigners to come in? The 1964 Civil Rights Bill is the reason why Koreans, Nigerians, Indians, Arabs can come in and open up businesses in Black neighborhoods and still disrespect the fucking same people that are putting money in their pockets. What kind of fucking nerve is that? It's the serious hatred of African Americans in this country. It's in the soil.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And I think folks can come from other countries and see the way that we are treated and go, oh, that's how I should treat them. But you know how African Americans are treated before you even get here. So you arrive with a preconceived notion of how you should think of African Americans. I can see why these folks would be like, I don't want to be part of their group because they are downtrodden and they're ex-slaves. Sarah, I understand where a lot of people, Africans, come to this country and are disrespectful of African Americans because they see the way that we're treated and they see the history of chattel slavery and they are disrespectful to us. They don't understand our struggle. They just see like, oh, you guys were slaves. We don't want to connect with you. Maybe not you, because your family is so Americanized, even though you grew up in Canada. But do you understand why some immigrants are coming here and saying, I'm not like them because my people weren't slaves?
Yeah, well, we're not. And I think that is the thing that really needs to be considered here, right? When you start thinking about African American, what does that mean? I have never been to Africa. My parents have never been to Africa. My grandparents have never been to Africa. And although I am excited to go, one of the things that I think is silly is why is it that we are the only African Americans? Why aren't there French Americans, Polish Americans, German Americans that are here?
There are.
I know that they are, but why are they not identified as that? And I think that the biggest identity issue, or why someone that may necessarily come from a place in Nigeria or come from a place in Jamaica, is because there is no Blackadonia. We've heard it before, right? We don't have an identity point. We don't have I can't trace up the way 15 generations back. And although I believe my mom's like a 12th generation
Canadian. Sarah. That's what we're talking about. That's why we're African American, because we understand we cannot trace back to specifically where we were, but we want
to not just American
to Africa, even though we can't document it.
This is what I'm saying. Why are we not just American? Why are we not just Canadian? Why is it that because I have darker melanated skin, now I am an African American when I have no idea of the source point of that root? Now, is it a beautiful opportunity to go learn that? Yes, it is. And learn where I came from and try to track down my family lineage? Yes, absolutely. But I just don't feel like that should be an identifying factor until every other immigrant, by the way, that came to this country starts identifying the same way. And why is it that Blacks are the only ones that do that? Why are there not, why are, even if you were to say the Mexicans, right? People don't say Mexican American.
They do.
No, they don't. They say Mexicans, Torre. No, they do not.
Well, if you live here, you're born here, but your family's from Mexico, you are a Mexican American.
True, but is that what you're called? No, you're called a Mexican. No,
well, that would be racist. If you are an American citizen with Mexican background, you are a Mexican American. I mean, like my family's from Africa. I don't know if it's Ghana, if it's Senegal, what country it is.
Right.
I know we're from Africa, and I want to be an African American because I want to know the past where I come from. It is critical to have a relationship to your history, and we are the only people in America who do not have a tangible relationship to our history. So we have to remind each other we are African American.
No, okay,
the connection is important, and the vagueness of the connection is also important.
This is where the confusion comes in because you're saying they call people Mexican American, like Dr. B says. She is Mexican, Creole, and Black, right? She has never said I'm Mexican American, African American, and Creole American. None of this happens in real life. Now, is that the box that you make?
Sarah, what are you talking about? What real world are you talking about? Of course it does.
Let me finish and I'll tell you. That may be the box that you check when you go sign up for something or anything government-wise, but that is not how we speak in this nation. In fact, the only people in this nation that get both of those things are Blacks. We are African American. When you go speak on stage, they say we're at the African American Studies. Why are we only focused on Blacks being African American? Why are we not also focused on the white people, the Latin people, the Asian people? Why are there not Chinese Americans? Is that what you check on a box? Yes, but it is not what you call them.
I don't know what world you live in. Of course, there are Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Creole Americans. I mean, of course, we talk about these things fairly all the time in this country. I don't know what you're even talking about.
Because we don't have an identity.
Thing is when they attach the American to Asian or the American to African or the American to Latin American, right? The American and Latin is there with that hyphen in the middle because that hyphen is meant to separate. So like myself, Torre, I totally get what you're saying and I respect folks who think that way. I really do. Not being sarcastic. I myself, I'm Black. I'm American. I was born here. My parents were born here. Even my Mexican mom and Creole mama was born here. So I don't go around separating myself by saying I'm African American. I am American woman who happens to be Black, Mexican, and French Creole. To Godfrey's point, the reason why I don't do that is because when we do get African immigrants that come here, we do get a different treatment as though they are different or better than the Americans who happen to be Black here, which I don't believe that we are better or I think we're different by culture and by geographical location, right, of where we grew up in environmental ways. But I don't think that I am better than an African who comes to America. Now, an African who comes to America, in my opinion, is an African American. I am a Black woman who was born here. I am an American citizen. I am not an immigrant. So I am not going to couple or group myself with an African American. I am Black. I don't think people are wrong. Let me disclaimer, who say African American or Black American and they were born in America. Sure. I just identify as an American Black woman, and I don't correct people when they say African American, but I'm not going to go introduce myself and say, hey, I'm African. I'm not. I'm an American woman. I'm just as American as the white woman named Sarah or Becky. I'm just as American as
Sure.
I'm just as American as any other person who doesn't look like me but has a different skin color. I am American. So therefore, I don't need to separate myself by saying, because you're white, you're American, and because I am Black, I have to say African American, so you know that we're separated from this country. I don't see it.
Being African American is a tremendous source of pride to me. And it's interesting that you said the the line between African American is a divider. I see it as a connector, as a thing that connects my African heritage to my American heritage. And yeah, the lineage of African American people in this country is special and unique. I want to be absolutely identified with that. And part of that's why I took African American studies when I was in college, because I love Black people so much. And I don't need to go around saying I'm African American. I actually prefer the term Black American just poetically. And I understand the complexity of, like, Charlize Theron is African American, but we all know that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about me and Dimitri and people like that who are who are both African and American. And the notion, especially for us, those two different cultures shape us politically, culturally, socially in amazing and powerful ways. And I have respect for the Italian Americans who are here. I mean, like, I live in New York City, so we see the Italian American parade every March. We see the Puerto Rican Day parade every June, I believe it is. We see Irish Americans parading in March also. So, I mean, we see parades, the Dominican American parade. Oh my God, like, they kill Brooklyn. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's a party every freaking. So, I mean, like, I see a range of people. I want to talk about one African woman who made a really interesting comment, because there's a lot of negative stereotypes of African Americans around the world, but we found this African woman who had something really interesting to say. Let's look at that.
I used to be, I think, a bigot towards African Americans and wanting nothing to do with them because I was fearful for my own life. Myself, when I arrived here, my tendency was to not trust African Americans. Our parents are like, be careful of these people. They're violent. They're scary. They don't like to study. The biggest thing that outside world and other Africans can see of African Americans is more the urban Black ghetto culture. That's
we call it ghetto here.
That's
hood rattery.
I mean, that's what we see. But I think where we went wrong, as all groups, you have a subset who doesn't do good things and doesn't behave a certain way, but that shouldn't be an indictment on the rest of the community. So it took for me to come to this country, start to see for myself, oh, okay, there is definitely this urban Black ghetto culture that they're talking about, but there is also all of these other African Americans, millions and millions of them, leading and running amazing lives, raising families, building businesses, being, great professionals. I didn't expect that. So I think especially the music industry is what has caused a lot of problems, as well as Hollywood, in terms of sending the stereotypes to the outside world.
Africans and African Americans, we don't understand each other. And there's such a disconnect there. And then there's a bit of a identity crisis that a lot of Black Americans have because we feel like our culture was stripped away from us, which objectively that is true. But that being said, it's like we then at the same time try to create this new vision of what our roots actually are without going to see our roots and going to figure out the truth.
Dimitri, I love the point that she made. She was taught by media, quite often run by white supremacy, that Black people are immoral, thieves, all these horrible things. Then she came here and was like, oh, that's not true. We are not all those things.
I actually love that she put it in perspective from someone who's lived through it. We know how much social media pushes the Black narrative, Black hate, Black crime, Black this, Black that. We know exactly what's going on in that regard. And the fact that they're receiving it across the globe is something to note. But my thing about it is this. They come here, right? And until you're aware, you're ignorant. Until you are aware that there are genuine good people and people who don't subscribe to that narrative, you wouldn't know, just like she said. But the thing about it is they come so quickly trying to detach themselves from what Black actually means, the pain behind it, the struggle behind it, the stereotypes behind it. They say, whoa. I understand what's going on, but please don't branch me with these Black people you're hard to. I'm different. But the thing about it is they don't understand these people will see you as no different. And I think that's exactly what's going on with this immigration factor. But you're absolutely right. She's absolutely right.
Yeah, and I think that it's easy to separate yourself when somebody feels different, and that's the issue, right? And so I guess my question, Dr. B, I'll ask you this question: if some Hispanics chase whiteness for privilege, are some Black immigrants doing the same by pushing anti-Black stereotypes about Black Americans? And the real question is, who really benefits when we play their game?
Oh, 100%. Who benefits is the folks who are creating the overt and covert racism narrative. Touré said it best. He said media ran by white supremacy is what pushes out the narrative for us to see and for us to be reprogrammed to continue to create in our communities, in our households, in our social groups, and then more than that, within ourselves, because we begin to embody that narrative subconsciously, not even becoming aware of it. What I find to be very interesting was this woman said that she's seen Blacks in America to be ghetto. Now, Sarah, been in Africa, Torre, I'm going to think you did just because, you know, you seem to be you haven't. No, because you seem to be well.
Africa, what are you talking about?
I know, yeah, that's what I'm going to think you did, because I'm assuming, but I knew my assumption would be right. I've been to Africa. So for someone who is coming from Africa, meaning this woman in this video, who grew up there, to come to America and say that the Blacks here are ghetto, if you've been to Africa, and with all due respect, because I love Africa, and I was, oh my God, when I got off that plane, Torre, I said something spiritually said, welcome home. Oh my God, it feels home, does it not, Torre? But I'm gonna say this, there is no ghetto-ness in Africa. It is straight third world crime. Yeah. No, it is third world crime, meaning it's crime on top of crime that isn't even policed. So again, I'm not downing Africa. I'm speaking the reality of if you've been there. No, it's not ghetto. It is crime with no policing. You have military standing outside of resorts with big machine guns, and they tell you do not leave your resort by time even the little sun starts to go down, because you will be robbed. So what I'm saying is, and I told this story before on here, it's quick. We got in our Uber. It was 11 o'clock at night, me and my fiance at the time. The Uber was running the red lights. And I said to him, sir, I want to make sure we don't get hit or we don't get a ticket. Is this okay? He said, Mom, if I don't run red lights, he said, they will bum shack us and rob us, and police will not give me ticket because they know we cannot stop at night. I said, excuse me, run every motherfucking light. Go, Torre.
No,
go.
You're right. You're right.
I love that.
And I've seen that also. Wait, hold on. I've seen that also in other places where it's a little more lawless. But the point that Sarah made about Hispanics chasing whiteness for privilege is real. And I don't bring that up to shade. For a long time, people on the left thought, oh, there is a rising number of Latinos and Hispanics coming into this country. They will see themselves as people of color and vote with Black people, and we'll have this massive permanent majority of people of color. And a lot of brown people, Hispanics, are like, no, I am gentrifying. I want to be with them. I want to be with the powerful group. I don't want to be with the downtrodden Black people.
Wait, that's how Trump got in office. Hold on.
Yes, and Africans are making the same point. I want folks who don't live in this country to understand that Black people are amazing and beautiful and powerful, and and Black people who are in the hood are also amazing and beautiful and powerful, and some of them are dealing with white supremacist forces beyond their control. So before we go, oh my God, they're all stealing and violent, there's a reason why some of that is happening.
Well, it's really crazy when you start thinking about how deeply these different beliefs are rooted. I was in an Uber the other day, and one of the things people always say is, where are you from? And I'm from Canada. And so having conversations with different people, this man told me that Blacks in Atlanta are an embarrassment and they have no unity. And a part of me is like, well, depending on where you're looking, you could definitely find that. But the other part of me is like, wow, so sad that us as a people think so differently, because that driver was Nigerian. Right? It was a Nigerian driver saying that Blacks are an embarrassment and that we have no unity. Now, the truth to that is, in a lot of different ways, we as Black people don't have a unity. We don't have a collective economy. We aren't coming together to create things, which then brings me to the question of, how is it working with Black people? Have you guys had crazy experiences? Because I certainly have. So there's different beliefs and ideals and biases that each of us can have in our minds that kind of set us up in a different way, where now we are looking at people a little bit different. But I will say there's a difference between Blacks and niggas. I'm just going to say that straight up.
Okay, Chris Rock.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
It was said really well.
When you say that, are you suggesting that some people act like niggas all day long, or there's certain moments where you don't like the way a given person is acting or behaving, so you're going to denigrate them in that moment and call them a nigger, but they're not a nigger the rest of the day? Like,
Here you go. There's a lifestyle of being a nigger. And then
there's a lifestyle.
For you got to respond to certain.
What's the lifestyle?
You got to pull yourself out of it.
Wait, Sarah, I got a question, Sarah.
Wait, I want to know what the nigga lifestyle is. What's the nigga lifestyle, Candace? Tell me that.
I want to ask her a question.
Yes.
Because I have, I'm a Black woman, but I definitely got a nigga deep in there. So what do I consider? Is that my lifestyle or what is it? Because let me tell you something. If somebody says something to me that is completely out of pocket,
yes,
especially if it's systemically racist, especially if it's a Karen, let me tell you something. She gonna get the whole nigga out of me in that moment. So what does that mean, Sarah? Diagnose me about my nigga. Tell me, I want to hear about this.
I love it because that's what I'm saying. Lifestyle is an everyday thing that you do, right? The difference between being a Black person or a Black human is when you're just, you have it in you. We all got a fire-breathing dragon inside of us. And with the right circumstance, right opportunity, right access, it might be time to ignite some fire. So
but some people are niggas all day.
Yes, some people are.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Lifestyle.
What is the racism, Candace? Why are you dissing Black people?
I don't know why that's a diss. Why is that a diss? It's like if someone is universally unattractive, is it bad for saying it? If someone is obese, is it bad for saying it?
Universally unattractive?
Hold on. What are you talking about? Your question is so
the notion that some Black people are basically beneath your respect.
Whoa. Don't put words in my mouth.
Your question is so good. I have a question.
He's putting words in my mouth. No, Dr. B, just wait.
Who is the nigga all day? And then after you answer, just tell me, after you say what you say, just tell me, give me a person to raise question, because I love it, that who is a nigga all day? Give me one person that you're like, he's just a nigga all day.
Damn, I really got to think about that. But to answer the question.
No. Answer the question. It's the question.
This is what I'm saying. Just because you're a nigga all day does not mean that you don't deserve respect. Just because you're a nigga all day does not mean that you're this terrible, classless, awful person. That's not what that means. It just means there is a difference. The same way that there is a difference between, let's say, if you're raised in, people have told me all the time, wow, you're really different for a Black girl, right? Or why do you talk like a white woman? No, I agree with you. If someone says you're really articulate for a Black woman, it's based off of their experience that they've had with Blacks that are around them. At the end of the day,
they don't see a nigga in you. That means they don't see a nigga in you.
That's not true because folks have seen that too. I've got it in me.
More than that. Oh my God. Oh my God, Dimitri, I'm drowning in ignorance, Dimitri. I'm drowning in niggadom, Dimitri. What is really happening?
Touré, I think you're the one who's a nigga all day. I just got it.
Apparently, I say nigga. I mean, I'm raising all my kids, but like, I mean, I really don't know.
You know what the problem is? That the way that you give it meaning, you're making the fact of somebody acting a certain way, it's just an identifier. Why does it have to be so negative? I didn't say that Black men that are niggas don't raise their kids. You said that, which means you have a subconscious racist.
But what did you mean by niggas then? Because we asked you, define niggas, name a nigga. You can't define it. You can't name it.
Let's think.
Wait, I'm with you, Touré. A nigga who don't raise his kids is a nigga. That's what we're gonna be in agreement on.
Yeah, he a nigga all day.
He a nigga all day and all life and all year.
I'm just saying the way that y'all see it, we all have different meanings for something. If I were to say,
what's yours?
I'm trying to tell you, you keep cutting me off. If I said, give me 3 words, that means love. We all would say 3 different words. If I say, I think that there's a difference between niggas and Black people, and give me 3 words that describe niggas.
Tell us the difference. What is a nigga?
What's your word?
You said, hold on, wait.
Okay,
Let's flip the script, y'all. Let's flip the script,
She
please.
still ain't defined it.
We want her to define a nigga.
I ain't heard no definition. I heard you dancing toward it, and
y'all got to call it
some sideways move. I want her to define what is a nigga.
What is a nigga?
Okay, I like it.
See, niggas love shit. Somebody
like to phone a friend.
No, love not explaining shit.
Clarence Thomas, he'll help you out.
Say any of that. If I was to think of 3 words when I think of nigga, it'd be late. 1, niggas is always late.
So you a nigga today because you was late. You a nigga number 1. Name number 2. Come on.
Boom.
I did not say it wasn't me.
What's number 2?
Woo! Okay, Now I'm like really thinking about it.
Here now.
And let us know in the comments, y'all. Is there a difference between
Niggas
black
love to deflect.
You answer the question. What's your other two words? What's your other two words?
Like a
Chiron is right.
mindset.
The Chiron is right. Black immigrants hate Black Americans. Look right now. Here's the example right here.
No, niggas have a lack mindset. They never have enough.
And niggas don't like answering questions. That's when they know they
don't have money. What are you talking about?
So the difference is, y'all. Okay, look, because y'all.
You want me to save you? Would you like me to save you?
Are you being a nigga right now?
This is the point.
Are you being a nigga right now?
Listen.
Yeah, name a nigga. Who's a nigga?
Y'all, I don't never get to finish.
Name a nigga.
Hey, listen. You don't have to finish, Sarah. They're not gonna let you finish.
Sarah,
they're not gonna let you finish.
Yes,
listen,
niggas,
they're not gonna let you finish.
Right, y'all acting like niggas. It's okay. That's not.
Oh, she calls us niggas now. Okay, here we go.
Hey, listen.
Here we go. Black immigrants hating Black Americans.
We knew you was racist to us Black Americans.
Like real talk though, like all jokes aside, I think that people hear the term and then they make it negative. And I think the same way where if someone is obese, whether it's right, wrong, good or bad, it just is what it is. If somebody all day is acting like, you got to go to that space where you don't let somebody else talk, or you go to that space where you don't. Yes. Are those, in my eyes, is that a version of that? Let me finish before you talk to Ray. Is that a version of that? Yes, absolutely. And my version from how I see it. And at the same time, we sometimes need to have those traits. There's good and bad in all of us. And sometimes those things are things that you have to tap into. But as Dr. Brian says, are you high functioning? Do you let those things stop your day and drop down to where that thing is inside of you? Or do you choose not to? That's the only difference.
Okay, guys.
Americans.
Okay, guys, listen. We've concluded. I am a high functioning nigga. Listen, I get it. Hey, listen, Teray, I get it. Listen, but we got to flip the script. We got to flip the script.
Parenting nigga, and I'm just a nigga.
We have to flip the script.
I know, we're all niggas. Wait, but Sarah's not a nigga.
No, I'm not a nigga.
No, you're a nigga. You're not even American. You're not even African American. How can you be a nigga?
I'm sorry.
I'm just looking for a nigga to marry.
I'm sorry. I
take you to a resort in Africa. Oh my God.
Listen. I'm going to start with this. We're going to flip the script. Listen, slavery and colonialism did not just rip us out of Africa. They broke up our families. They broke up the unity. They poisoned the loyalty to each other. Some Africans look at us like we volunteered to come to America. Like this shit is an Eddie Murphy movie or something, And here they are. You know what I'm saying? They never came and got us. Like, what are we saying? We came as slaves and we fought our way out of it. But, what was their roles? Did they come try to get us? Did they come try to bring us back to the families? I'm not understanding it, but they still view us with this look of disgust and this thing in their eyes. We love to say we're not monolithic. We want Black autonomy.
We got
autonomy. I'm sorry. Exactly. We want Black autonomy. I'm sorry, Jody. I don't mean to, I can go back, but.
Oh, wait a minute, Dimitri. Hold on. Jody a nigga too. She went living around. Jody a nigga too.
Am I?
D, finish up what you were trying to say.
No. Are we skipping something with the X talk?
Now you can look. I don't want to blame our African ancestors because from my understanding of our history, they did not fully understand what they were doing. They knew that they were selling certain people into slavery, but slavery had existed in the world, but the peculiar institution, the particular form of slavery that was practiced in America, the cruelty, the separation of families, the life permanent nature of it, the being born into it, that had not really been practiced like this in the world. They did not understand the depth of the tragedy and the hell that they were selling us into. So before we would even begin to say, well, what is their place in this and what did they do and why didn't they come get us? They didn't know. They didn't know how bad it was that they were moving us into.
No, I can understand that. And I sense it to a degree. But the way we're viewed when they do come is amazing to me. And it's not just about skin tone. again, like the video we referred to early on, it's what they're taught. It's how they're taught to view us. And there's no one person to blame, you know.
Blame
what
Sarah.
about you, Dr. B? You got an opinion on
that? I think it's a big envious, jealousy, and jadedness. I mean, we're here. We're where they want to be. We are here experiencing what people call the American dream. They don't come here because this country is worse than the country they're in. They're coming here for opportunity.
Yeah.
About that American dream. And we are here, whether we're doing what they deem is, you know, being grateful of the American dream or not, we still have the opportunity. It presents itself. They come here and grab the opportunity because they have a polar opposite of what it feels like, and they know what it's like to not have that. So they come in our ghetto country, and they tend to do really ghettoly well because I guess they look at the niggas who are here who ain't doing much with it and go, you know what? Because I don't want to be a nigga, I'm going to do something better with it. And I'm being funny, but I'm being honest. So I really feel like a lot of times, you know, it's more of y'all been here and we don't think subjectively that you guys are doing enough with these opportunities. I've heard a lot of Africans say that to me, that look, we come here, we get an education, we build family, we do our things. Asian Americans come here, they build businesses, they open up stores, they make money, and they see opportunity and they grab it. And you folks who are here have this opportunity and you sit around and you want to be on government assistance, or you don't want to work, or they deem us as being lazy with the opportunities that we have because we're not doing anything. But we're not talking about if we are, Tori, we're saying how they deem us to be, because they're saying, hey, you got a pot of gold, and then you would rather have someone feed you the pot of gold, when they're saying we come with no pot, we build the pot, we fill it up with gold, and then we distribute it throughout our families. And they do come here and they do get the education. They do seem to do a lot more than we do in a country that gives us opportunities that we are born into. So.
No, absolutely. And we love to say we're not monolithic and we want Black autonomy. But in this fight against white supremacy, when Black immigrants, Jamaicans, Haitians, Bajans, Cap Verdeans, all of it, gonna stop moving like strangers to Black Americans and stand up like brothers from another mother, you know, like my dogs, you know, because divided, we're cooked, like we are smoked.
I think that,
united, we seem to be unstoppable.
I think that the notion of a general diaspora that is connected politically really begins in America and comes from American Black folks. So I really don't know how much folks who live outside of America really care or feel connected to the diaspora, because it may be politically a step away from them. I could see where when we're talking about, you know, we need these certain things politically, and Africans are like, well, that has nothing to do with our struggle. So how are we connected? I mean, I could see African Americans saying our struggle has nothing to do with theirs. I think that they are related, but I could see where people would say, I don't understand how.
But they're giving everything that they have to come into our country that has a different level of struggle that obviously is less than the struggle that they are currently experiencing. You see, Godfrey said it right. You want to be here to benefit off of the things that we are fighting for here, for you to bring your black tail here and be able to receive. So when you get here, if you don't like America, then keep your ass up out of America. That's for not just Africans, that's for Sarah. If she's a Canadian and comes to America and she wants to just lowball us and talk bad about, well, why are you here then? You're here for an opportunity. And if you don't see this as being an opportunity, then take your ass back. But if you're going to be here in the midst of us, then be an asset, or be an asset by making sure that you do the things that contribute to your betterment, and don't bad talk a country that you are giving everything to become not just on a visa here or as a guest or on vacation here. You are attempting to be a citizen here. These people want to set up shop here. So respect the land that you are trying to come into, and don't respect the people who have been here this whole time.
Look, Sarah, we're not enemies. I mean, you and I are enemies, but in general, we're not like politically enemies. White supremacy wants us to argue about who's more educated, who's more cultured, who's more successful. We have to unlearn what the colonizers are trying to teach us to divide us, especially with the government trying to rewrite Black history and erase CRT and these sort of things. So like, we need, Sarah, to stop policing each other's Blackness and start protecting it. How do we get to that?
I love that.
Well, I love that question because I feel like first and foremost, we have to acknowledge and accept the fact that we're different. Right? There is such a beautiful spectrum of what it means to be Black. Whether you came here from a different country, whether you were born here and raised here, whatever it could be, the one thing that we have in common is that we all have a Black experience. And they're all very, very different. I'm from the Prairie in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Where?
Right? And the Prairie, like Regina is the city that I'm from. Yeah. The slogan is the city that rhymes with fun. Let me know when that.
I love when you say that.
You know, but I say that to say that really and truly, you know, it's so crazy to me how quickly, because there's certain movies that I haven't watched and I have no desire to see because I don't like seeing our people down and out. I don't like seeing our people as slaves. We are royalty, in my opinion. And someone will say, oh, Black card's removed. How can you remove my Black card? You can't take this experience away from me, even if you don't agree with the way that I operate. And I think that we don't have to agree with one another, but we can try to understand better where we are, where or how we are operating that way, even if we don't like it, which actually brings me to Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, he's a vocal Pan-Africanist. So at the core of his message is this: there is no separation between Black life in America and Black life globally. Okay. We're one people who are divided by slavery, colonialism, and white supremacy. He argues that Black Americans must see themselves as Africans in America, not a separate group. But then he goes back on to bash Black Americans like Barack Obama.
House niggas, just like Barack Obama, they do what they need to do to stay close to the white power structure. She made a career locking up Black people. This is the same woman who went on international television, Art, let me remind you, about a year or two ago and said America is not a racist country. You want me to go vote for a so-called Black woman who went on international television and told the world that America is not a racist country? She spit in the face of the family of Trayvon Martin. She spit in the face of the family of Breonna Taylor. She spit in the face of the family of Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Amir Locke, Dante. We can go on and on. Tamir Rice, all the Africans murdered by police, which are state-sanctioned executions. Let us be clear. The police are agents of the state. When the police kills a Black person, that is a state-sponsored execution. And in response to all this racism, the execution of George Floyd, this part-time Black woman says America is not racist.
Sheesh. All right, Torre. Does he have a valid point, or is this a perfect example of division?
I find Umar very difficult to take seriously because a lot of times he takes a very reductive and simplistic view of things. And I think, you know, if you understand the political system, you would understand why Kamala Harris cannot even possibly have a chance to get elected the president of the United States if she says America is a racist country. So she cannot say it's a racist country. She has to have a workaround for that. She cannot go into Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan having said America is a racist country. So to attack her for that shows just a complete misunderstanding of the political system. And he's better than that. But I think that African Americans are, of course, part of the diaspora, but what we have experienced in this country is so unique and so different and so traumatizing to us that I don't know what our connection to our brothers and sisters on the continent really is when they've had their own struggle and their own trauma and their own journey that is entirely different than ours. So like our political problems have nothing to do with most of their political problems. And, you know, to say like, well, we have to see ourselves linked. I mean, like, I understand the value. Obviously, you know, I was in college talking about Nelson Mandela and marching to hope that Nelson Mandela would get out of prison one day. So we saw the global diasporic struggle as one, but so much of what African Americans are dealing with as far as the war on drugs, mass incarceration, white supremacy, has nothing to do with what our brothers and sisters in Africa are dealing with.
Torre, here you're in part, the beginning of your statements, totally disagree. To have a Black leader who can't be Black is a complete deficit to our Black community. as a whole, and I'm not just talking about Black Americans, that is her doing exactly what we've been taught to, which is to suppress and to hide behind our Blackness, and that to be Black and loud or Black and proud is not safe, and that it is looked at as a loss. And so to run as, you know, run for presidency and say that we are in a racist country, which is the truth, you're saying would have harmed her. But that is exactly what white supremacy is telling every Black person, that the more Blacker you are, the more harm you are, you know, subject to face. And so to have a leader that leads in that way is exactly why when Kamala was running, yes, I voted for her because I wasn't voting for this idiot, but I didn't vote for her because I believe she can lead us. To be transparent, I voted for her because she, to me, was the better of the worst of the two presidents. Because again, if I'm looking at a leader who is running and she is identifying as Black to get our votes and to get our attention, and she's also showing entertainment that would pull in the Black community, but she's not talking politics because she's too arrogant to think that we would understand that. You're also telling me you can't say certain things that represent Blackness. But at the same time, that is exactly the fight that we're fighting, is being able to be as Black as we need to be and represent ourselves as Black folks in different representations and be okay with it. Because Black men are saying when I go out this door and I show up Black, even when I show up Black and I'm ducking as a Black man, I'm still getting hit. I'm still getting mistreated. I'm still getting police brutality. So I got to figure out how to be Black in the world. Otherwise, there's a problem against me. And I'm going to land on this. A leader who comes out and leads and teaches us by example that being Black is a weapon and not a tool, so hide it. Because if they hear you too loud, it's a problem. That is one of the biggest problems in our community is Black leadership that ain't leading Black. They're leading very, very overtly, systemically racist.
Well, I think it was an interesting point, but you started and you referenced Kamala as a Black leader. She's a leader who is Black, but she is not a Black leader. Jesse Jackson was a Black leader in that his power came from his relationship to the Black community. You say whatever you want about Reverend Sharpton.
No, you're right. That's the problem. Kamala wasn't a Black leader with no relationship to the Black community. Prove my point. Continue.
Well, no, but I mean, like, to expect her to then come out and be a Black leader when she has never been that in her career. She's a senator, she's a DA, she comes from political power, right? I mean, she's never been about let's be unapologetically Black. You cannot be unapologetically Black in that way. You can dance with the AKAs and the DSTs. You can rep how much you love Howard. But if you want to be the president of the United States, and Barack Obama showed us this, you can't say America is deeply and systemically racist. You can talk about policies that might move us forward, that might help Black Americans, but you can't call the country racist and expect to go into Michigan and get votes enough to get a federal election.
Oh, Touré, you can't
gotta know where you are.
Yeah, Touré, you can't go against the systemic racism. You can't go against the master. You better line up, saddle up, and speak like they speak and talk like they talk and walk like they talk. Because as a Black woman, you're not a Black leader. You're just a Black woman who's in leadership. That is the bullshit mindset of how people who are whitewashed think. If you are Black and you are leading, you have a responsibility to your Black people. If you are Black and in a leadership position, you are leading people and Black people. So you don't need to be unapologetically Black, but you do need to be a representation of what Black is. And if you can go march with the AKAs and go to Howard and do all those things when they benefit you, then you should be able to be in a leadership position and be Black when they benefit all of us.
She was absolutely all those things. She just understands, I can't tell America you're racist. No. I can't have 100, 200 million white people saying I called them racist. That would be ending the election immediately. Like that's not the role that a federal candidate could take.
She understands Eurocentric way of thinking. She understands what you're saying and how you're talking, what whitewash looks like. And she doesn't even know that she's pushing the underlining white narrative by being the underlining, not willing to be the unapologetic, underlining Black woman who's wanting to suppress her Blackness, to suppress everything that she stood for when she was at a HBCU. When she crossed over to the Divine Nine. All that is unapologetically Black. But now that you are in office at the highest level of presidency, we let a white man get in office and say, get rid of the Mexicans. Niggas ain't shit. I'm white, and we're going to make it right. Make America great again by getting rid of immigrants and pushing in white folks and bringing in white immigrants and making it okay for them. But a Black person in leadership can't be Black in leadership.
No.
Because, hold on, you're saying because it's dangerous. She won't win the race. She won't be. Hold on. She didn't win the race by being a whitewashed woman who ran for office. So now what? She didn't win doing it that way. You just said it. You just said
there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why she didn't win. But do you understand what code switching is?
That's one of them.
We understand that we go into certain white spaces and we have to perform Blackness in a particular way to be successful in those spaces. That's not selling out. That's just understanding the audience you're talking to.
You do. And my Blackness have worked for me. I'm very successful and I'm very Black. And everybody who works with me knows that, from Dimitri to Sarah and now you too, Torre, and our executive producers know I am Blackity Black, and it's worked for me. And if I decide to run for an office, I'm going to run Black. And when I get in office, Torre, I'm going to send you a private jet, and I'm going to have a Black car pick you up from there and have you in there, give you a 6-course dinner just for you to say, Doc, you were right. And I'm going to say, welcome to the White House with a Black.
Call the LA Times and tell them about your corruption, get you kicked out of office. Code switching is natural. We all do it. All successful Black people are able to code switch, especially in a way that leaves them feeling spiritually protected. Like, I didn't sell out my people. Let's talk to Oprah. Let's talk to Quincy Jones. Let's talk to Richard Parsons. All successful Black people, including Kamala, understand how to code switch. If Kamala was here, you would say, I'm talking to a sister. When she goes to the AFL-CIO, she performs Blackness the way she needs to get them to support her.
Okay, so guys, wait, let's have Kamala on here, because I'd love to have this conversation with her and see what the pillow talk is with her white husband, because like a lot of people who have that same experience, they seem to talk very whitewashed and not understand what I'm talking to or what I'm talking about. The person doesn't have to agree with me, but they definitely need to be able to see that there's a disconnect. Many folks in the Black community who voted for her, who did not vote for her, said there's a huge disconnect between Kamala and the Black community. Go ahead, Sarah.
So let's just say this. The debate that you guys are having right now is what the immigrants see. It's what the outsiders see. It's the fact that we don't necessarily have that unity, right? And the divide is the agenda, because the truth is, whether you are a Black leader or whether you are a leader that is Black, the divide is by design. Colonialism and slavery didn't just strip our identity. They trained us to see each other as different, as less than, or foreign. Even when we look in the same mirror, Jamaicans, Haitians, Africans, they all have a connection to a homeland. We don't. Black Americans are the stepchild of Africans and the foster children of America. If we can't see that the diaspora divide is their biggest weapon, then we'll keep playing ourselves while they profit off of our chaos. United, we stand, but if we stay divided, we fall.
You know, that was so beautifully spoken. I just want to talk to my people real quick. Listen, my people, listen, understand this. Before you post Black Power again, I need you to ask yourself, does it mean anything if you're still side-eyeing your brother's accent or your sister's slang or judging the skin tones that the slave masters taught us to? Slavery ripped us right out of Africa. But it's the mindset that keeps us divided. So the real question is, when is the Black immigrants and Black Americans going to stop moving like strangers and start moving like family before the next system eats us alive together? Stay woke, stay loud, and don't just say Black Power. I need you to live it. You understand what I'm saying? That's you right there with the moo-moo on. Yeah, you live it, okay? Not you, Tori. She know who I'm talking.
I haven't been living it. What more do I have to do?
She know who I'm talking. Check the comment section.
Beautifully said, Dimitri. Thank you so much for that. That's our show for tonight, and this might have been our best show ever. Good job, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Truth Talks-Live. Watch us simulcasting and fighting right here on the Black Star Network every night at 8 p.m. right after Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support Black media at Cash App, Truth Talks Live, or any of the links on your screen. Support us by advertising with Truth Talks the way our friends at the Playpad in Atlanta, Georgia do, and reach our over 10 million person viewing audience on all our social platforms. And it's actually 10 million plus 50 because Sarah's family is really, really huge. Social businesses and influencers can partner with us by visiting truthtalkslive.com, like Hair Maniacs, who were so crazy, Hair Maniacs, that they partnered with Dr. B on their product that's not just a hairline, it's a lifestyle, just like being an African American. Or maybe just like being a nigger. Being a nigger is a lifestyle, clearly. So bam, here we go. Dr. B, tell us about your lovely hair.
Listen, this is what I got to say. The reason why I love True Talk so much is because on here, we are unapologetically Black. And sometimes I got to get Touré back in alignment to be in his unapologetically Black self. This is where we don't whitewash, we don't water down, we stay 10 toes down on being Black, proud, and brown. That's just what it is, y'all. I don't even want to talk about Hair Maniacs no more. I needed to make sure I did a shout out to myself and those who stand on being Black unapologetically, because that's what Truth Talks is all about. Good night, y'all. Love you.
If you become a VIP member of the Truth Lounge, you can click on any co-host room. Dimitri will be there if you click on his room telling you, raise your kids, be good to your children. Oh my God, that's what he does.
That's what I sound like.
As we talked about tonight, Black media is under attack, so tell a friend to watch our show every night, 8 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. PST. We'll be back every night. Your friends here, 8 p.m.